Hello, my name is Mithsuca Berry. My pronouns are they, them, and I am a multidisciplinary artist that was raised in Boston and currently practicing in Philly. Afrofuturism has always been like an instrumental part of my work. Making work that envisions a future where Black people not only exist but impact the culture and thrive has always been important to me. And I've always been inspired by the ways that Octavia Butler has weaved the past and the present and the future into her work. And I try to do as much of that as I can in my own work. It's been a real honor to be able to explore Octavia's childhood and upbringing in a more intentional way. I think that she's gotten a lot of praise for the impact that her work has had, especially after her passing. But it's very important to me that we honor the life that she lived before then and we acknowledge all the steps that it took for her to become the creative that she became. And so I feel really honored to be able to get to know her on a more personal level and know her for Octavia and Octavia the person and not just Octavia the writer and the scholar. And I just hope that that opens up more opportunities for us to do the same thing for all of the Black artists, especially Black women that we've have the privilege of enjoying the labor of. It's just really important to me to humanize the artists that have tremendously impacted our lives. I think upon learning more about Octavia's childhood, it really encouraged me to go back into my own childhood and the moments in my life that led me to being the artist that I am today. The little things, like the first things I started to draw and the things that inspired me to like make this a career before it ever was my job were really important pieces of information for me to make this piece come from the heart. And I really want to make this space also a space where young people who are still trying to process and understand what they want to be when they get older, but they can explore that freely and playfully. As much as, once you start monetizing your work, it can feel like the fun and the innocence of it has been kind of stripped away, and so it's really amazing to be able to go back into that innocent place, into that childlike place, and to create from that point. Seeding futures to me speaks to creating from an intentional place in the present, knowing that it's going to have an impact in the future. I think that we compartmentalize a lot of the time that we have on this earth, and sometimes that makes us feel more lost than connected. And so I really want to take the concept of seeding futures and implement it into every practice I have, not even just as an artist, but as a friend, as a peer, as a member of community, just to know that my impact as an individual is greater than just like the day to day. It does, and we do impact one another, whether we want to believe it or not. And so, seeding futures to me really represents the power that we have to change our reality at every second. And in the context of, young people and kids being in this space, I think it's really important that we honor the fact that every moment of their youth is a preparation stage for their future and the things that they want to be when they get older. And so I think that taking that I think that that is a very powerful sentiment to move through the world with. And so I'm really excited to share that concept with people and see what kind of responses we get from the public that experiences the exhibition. So this piece really outlines the kind of stages of Octavia's creativity from youth into adulthood. Some of the staple pieces in here kind of highlight the things that she's talked about and written about in her journals, in her personal archives. In this experience of developing this exhibition in general, we were able to explore some of the spaces of her upbringing and hear more about her story as a child. And that really inspired all of the visuals that came together. There's a lot of botanical elements to these pieces because Octavia, as much as Octavia spoke about the future and technology, and there was this future futuristic aspect to her work. She was very much intentional about bringing us back into connection with the earth, into connection with nature. And so I wanted to honor that as much as I could in all of the visuals for this piece. We have some parts of, her first book, the impact that the public library system had in her life. Her becoming a writer was truly impacted by her access to being able to read, to being able to explore what it means to be a writer from her perspective. And so we really wanted to honor that in all of the visuals. We have a quote from her: all that you touch, you change. It kind of nods to, again, the seeding futures concept of having impact on, our collective future. Um, and I think Octavia very much put emphasis on the fact that she was an empath, and she was very encouraging of others to tap into their emotional body and use their practice to open them up to the world and open them up to greater possibilities for our future. A lot of her work is very dystopian, but there's always a seed of hope for the characters in her stories. And so I really also wanted to keep it as vibrant and as lively as I possibly could, because as much as she she gave us a lot of cautionary tales, she also wanted to remind us that we have the power to change that outcome in any way, small or big. And so, yeah, we continue onward to her, from her first book to her beginning to write her story, and becoming the artist that she ended up being for us. And I am really grateful for the opportunity to explore this side of her and to have intimate conversations about her impact in the world. And I just hope that, we do her story justice, and that people dive into her body of work more, knowing what they know now about who she is. I think there are a few takeaways that I want people to get from this exhibition, but a big one is definitely following your destiny and following your heart. One thing that really moved me about exploring Octavia's life was the ways that she really wrote down every single dream that she aspired to have, and to watch it truly come to fruition. Even before she got the accolades and awards that she has present day, she was still believing that they would come to her, and she really put emphasis on the fact that she wanted her work to find the right people. And even when no one was watching, she continued to write, she continued to put her ideas down and share them with the world. And it did, in fact, find the people it was meant to find, leading up to us having this exhibition itself. And so I really believe that each individual has a set of, passions and dreams that they have that deserve to be fed. And I'm a believer that our collective future relies on us nurturing that seed in each individual person. I don't believe in masking. I don't believe in performing. I believe in people pursuing lines of work, lines of interests that are truly aligned with who they are. And I think Octavia is a beautiful example of how, when you nurture that seed in yourself, anything can happen. And even if you don't see the future, you don't know the future, it could come together in such a serendipitous way that you will thank your past self for taking those risks, even when no one co-signed it or no one understood it. And so, considering the fact that this exhibition, as much as it isn't a children's museum, it is for children, I want that impact to also be multi-generational. I want adults to also experience this work and ponder back to the things that they wanted to be that when they were younger, the ambitions they once had, and ask themselves if it's possible to take it on again. There's never, you've never run out of time completely. I think the only thing that keeps us from those dreams is the potential of not knowing where it's going to lead us, or not knowing the kind of work it's going to require to make it happen. And I just hope that this exhibition really connects people to their faith, and communities of people who are going to help them bring their ideas to fruition, because it isn't just about, the individual things that we can do to make our aspirations come true. It's also about the community that we walk alongside that encourages us to be that version of ourselves, and that will provide us with the resources and connections to bring those ideas into fruition. And so I also hope that this is a communal space for families, for artists, for just visionaries and thinkers alike, and that all the connections that are made in this space have a huge impact on our future. I know that Octavia, as much as the work is the work, she also encourages this conscious awareness that we need each other to make movement happen, to make change happen. And so I hope that all of the connections that happen in this space have some impact of change in our collective future, and create spaces that are needed for the communities that Octavia advocated for. A lot of marginalized identities, Black, queer, neurodivergent people, they feel so drawn to her work because that is one of the few spaces where they feel represented and they feel honored for who they are. And so I hope that this inspires those people to also take leaps and to stand in their power, and use all of their identities as their superpowers, and to bring that into the communities that need it the most. um yeah.